here with May Simpson. May, how you doing? It's been a while.
I'm doing good. It has been a while. It's been too long, Doc. It's been
I
too long.
know. Well, I think it's been a while for everybody. I almost feel like it's like kind of a cliche to talk about that. It's like, oh, it's almost like I haven't seen you in a year. What
It's been
happened?
so long. How have you been? I have been in a shell. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yeah. Have you been you've been playing already? Have you been like indoor playing or just outdoors so far?
I think we did like one indoor gig and the rest have been outdoor gigs.
Yeah.
But we're gearing up we have a pretty big summer actually,
Yeah,
which is
I've
wild.
noticed.
Yeah, just like bam.
I know. Same thing happened to me. Like Katie Vernon was ribbing me at Stone Arch this weekend, where it's like you made a tweet that you had no shows, and then like the next day you had like 40 of them, and I was just like, okay, but I was like, that's how it looks, but it's like there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you're not allowed to talk about when you're
Exactly.
planning things, and then there was just like a bunch of things, but like all of my stuff is outdoor except like the first show I played was like indoor, and it was weird because like there was part of you that like, after sound check is done and you're about to start, you're like looking out and you're like, all right, man, there's like more than 100 people here already, and then like that other thing clicks in your brain, you're like, oh god, there's like
Yeah.
hundreds of
Keep
people here
keep
already,
your
like am I a
distance
bad
from
person?
me. Well, I mean, and that's a real thing, right? Is because as musicians, the only thing we've been wanting to do is get out and play, and then like you're put in that position, and then you're like, is this a questionable act? It's a real thing. So I think
I
that we've all kind of experienced that.
because it's been clear to me since going back that this has been needed because I think people need reasons to gather. And now more than ever, people need reasons to gather that aren't for corporate or political reasons,
Yeah,
like they need to like actually just form community and have like connections with people.
yeah,
And in my experience, like I'm not just saying this to be hokey, the only way to do that consistently and safely and across like various borders is with music and food.
literally. I mean,
And
you're
so
right. Yeah,
it's definitely needed, but there are definitely things where I'm just like well even like the industrial complex behind like setting up shows, there's definitely some things where it's just like, well, wait a minute, who are we really dealing with? Where's all this money going? Like, who's it?
yeah, yeah. Well, I
Like,
mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, like I think a lot of people are kind of like, I don't know what we can do here and feel okay. There's a certain amount of uncomfortableness around the whole board. It's
yes,
like, yes, I want to get out and play shows. I'm fully vaccinated, but that doesn't mean that other people are. But
yeah,
it doesn't
I
change that you can still get COVID, and it doesn't change a lot of things. So it's
no,
really kind of risk and reward and risk again. You know what I mean?
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I held off on booking shows, not like I think this is the thing that like when this whole thing started was like there was like a disconnect about like why people were acting the way they were acting, and like a lot of people close to me were just like, oh no, it's totally safe. I'm just like, yeah, I know, I got the shot, I don't care. Like I've worked in enough live events where I also know that no matter how big of sign you put up on the thing, people are
Yeah,
still not going to pay attention to it.
of
And there's
course.
like a lot of like crowd groupthink that happens when like you get a bunch of people together, that it's just like I I don't know. Like I think we're all gonna have like some weird little ticks coming out of this.
Sure.
So it was like for me, I was just like, I'm not gonna start until June.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, we started it earlier than that. I wanted to get things cooking in the fire a little bit before
yeah,
that. And so we were able to snag a couple of things, and then the floodgates opened, and then it was just like, wow, okay, so we're really
Yeah.
this summer ends up being like super busy with amazing gigs. So
I mean, there's also like a weird thing too, where it's just like once you start announcing gigs, because of like algorithms, I feel like you get noticed more, or at least this has been my experience. Where like the second I started announcing gigs is when people started asking me for like, you're like, oh, do you want to open for this thing? Oh, do you want to like? It's just because like you're putting your face up there, and then it's just like, so there's also that aspect of it too, and then there's like this weird. I don't know. It's like this social media FOMO thing where like I feel like a lot of artists were just like, oh man, they got gigs. We need gigs. We get a gig. We got to set up a gig, man.
Definitely, yeah. Domino effect for sure. Yeah, everybody's like, well, if they're playing a show, we should play a show. Kind of a deal.
Yeah,
but,
and
I'm happy everybody's out playing shows. I'm happy. I mean, if you can do it as safely as possible, absolutely.
Yes.
I think the threat is still out there. I mean, 100%. I mean, I definitely think we should all be safe, but at the same time, like I am an artist, I need to be out there with my people and play, because it is a big mental health thing, and just
absolutely. And I think we are being as safe as we can. I mean, like I don't know, like I definitely have played an indoor show, but it was like in an area where the cases have been so low for months. And like anyone I talked to who was like on the organizing front of that show, like was just like, yeah, I've been vaccinated since like January, so it's just like it like, but even then it still felt like, I don't know about this. And the rest of my stuff is outdoors.
Yeah.
What's that?
You're going to feel a little guilty. I mean, I think everybody does. I mean, we have indoor shows now like that we're going to be having. So, I mean, I know there's a guilt factor that's going to go into that, but at the same time, for me personally, it's really time to get back out there and
I'm just glad to see you out there, because I feel like your outfit especially is like the perfect thing for this. Like we need something to shout about. We need some joy. Yeah. And I love how like the old school band of like you got like 12 people up there and it's just like this big force of energy. Like I think that's the kind of shows like we need right now. So it's like but it's also exciting to see my friends like book stuff and like get things ready. Like I get excited. Oh, stand by. We're gonna go on the radio here right after Marvin Gaye. Okay, so you just heard Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing, here on KFAI. Let me just back announce the set, what we just heard for a second there. So at the top of the set, we had Anna Calvi, and in the middle there, we had Tina Turner. So right now, we have Mae Simpson with me here. Oh, hold on. I lost the camera now that I'm talking on the mic. Okay, so we have Mae Simpson here. I'm making a mixtape based off of your Desert Island playlist from last time, but also you introduced me to the Get Together.
Yeah, they are so cool, man.
So like after this little chat, I know you got to run. I know you got like some scheduling things I want to be respectful of. So I'm super, super grateful that you could stop by today. But so we're going to hear from that. We're also going to play your new single. But we're also going to get some of your Desert Island picks on the list. So new singles, you got a lot going on right now. So like where is your next show? Are you in Fargo next?
We're in Fargo this Saturday. Yeah. So Fargo this Saturday, and I mean our summer is just really booked. I mean, we just announced that we're at the State Fair for 2 nights.
I saw that. That's so fun.
5th and 6th. Yeah, the Basilica Block Party, which we're really excited about.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a whole bunch you can find on our website at MaeSimpsonMusic.com.
Yeah. So how did you go about working on these recordings that you've been kind of, because you've had collaborations with Megan Hamilton, who I was talking to a few months back. Yeah. But like, how did you even get, like, there's so many people in your band. Were you virtually sharing tracks, or did you just get like a big airplane hangar and like everyone's far enough away?
You know, this is totally in-house. The guys, Mike, Dave, and Elaine, and Yogi, and Aaron. This is all in-house recording. So we
Yeah.
did it all on our own, and we did the rhythm section first. We made sure that was right, and then we moved on. Sorry, that's my dog, Maxer. Come here. We made sure the rhythm section was right, and then we went over that. We combed through it. We said, okay,
Yeah.
this fits. This doesn't fit. I mean, the basic meaning thing we were trying to do is catch our energy, because it's
Yeah.
hard to catch our energy. If you see us live, you're like you're in love with the show. So we were
Yeah.
trying to transplant that into a recording, and I think this one did a fairly decent job of doing that and getting that energy across, which is the only thing that we've been really like honing in trying to do. So we did the
Yeah.
rhythm section first. I came in, I did the vocals. We just kept going over it until it was right.
Yeah. The rhythm section is the heart and the soul of the whole thing.
Oh,
And it's
for
so hard
sure.
to capture that without like one of the biggest things I've been having fun with is listening to records and how they captured that live spirit, even though a lot of people have been isolated, like these isolated recordings, and what people have been coming up with has been fascinating. So was this pre-COVID material that you were holding on to, or have you been like working together throughout the whole thing, like just building pieces and assembling them as you go?
We have definitely been writing when COVID hit. I mean,
Hmm.
I write all the time, so
Yeah.
I need some sort of outlet, and the guys write too. So we definitely have been writing this song. I can't even remember if this song was pre-COVID. Honestly, I don't think it was. I feel like this is the COVID baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, we continue to write. We have some really, really cool songs like that
Yeah.
are like next level, even for us, like in the way that they feel and they vibe. And I really think this next step that we're going to take is going to be the one that really kind of defines who we are.
Sure, sure, sure. And so are you taking this in a so what direction are you hoping to take this mechanism in the future? Like what was if this is going to define like what kind of impact are you hoping to have with this new sound?
I mean, the impact, I mean, is just the go. You hear about so many
Mm-hmm.
local bands that are really doing it and really doing it. And for me, it's like I don't want to just be said that I'm doing it. I want to go out there and do it. I want to be
Yeah,
national. I want to
yeah,
be global if I can, but take it step by step here, folks. Um, but the biggest thing is just like making something that not only feels good and right to us, but also
yeah.
people connect with that, and that kind of pushes you through with momentum as to where your next step is. And nobody knows where their next step is. They hope for it.
No.
You got to cut your teeth. You got to do what you got to do as an artist. But hopefully it just opens up some doors from us that we've really been trying to open up. As far as
Yeah.
we've done the local thing, and we're really trying to go, national. Let's get out the door a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And I hope you do. Because honestly, you've always been one of those acts that for me, I feel like if someone never heard of you and they saw you live, like
Yeah.
you got them.
And that's the
It's
thing
just
is we're really good at that, like
yeah,
now how do
yeah.
you make that into a recording? Because that's the trick.
Well, I mean, you can't. I mean, like it's there's so many artists that just like they're just different live than they are in the
True.
studio.
I would
And
almost rather be that though, just because, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
your live shows are always going to be epic. you know?
I no, I agree. I think what I also have weird attitudes of like how I record. Like like a lot of weird metaphors are on the recording where the live show is supposed to be more of just like, ah, it's fun for the whole family. Come on down. Where like in the
Yeah.
recording there might be, some things that are only meant for a certain time in a certain place. But like bands like yours, I my heart was breaking when the pandemic hit, because you are one of those bands that like y'all need to be touring, y'all need to be
I
meeting
know.
new faces, you need to be going to new places, and that's kind of like the best part of your experience is just like go to the show. And
Yeah.
so many artists couldn't even put on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where you're going to Fargo, what you have the state fair, what else? What in the immediate future are your next couple gigs here coming up? I just
Gosh.
checked the time, and I want to make sure we get the who's, the what's, the where's, the why's in before you gotta go.
So let's see here. I'm thinking, and I know that we have the Fargo gig. Is it gonna be
Yeah.
weird if I pull something up real quick just to like make
No,
sure here?
no.
I'm gonna make it weird.
It's better to get the
So
date
weird.
right while we have the platform rather than
I know,
order the
right?
retraction.
At first, I thought I had this all in my head, and then I'm like, I don't have this all in my head. Give me 1 second.
I feel that all the time, but for different reasons.
God,
So Fargo's this weekend. Are you Friday or Saturday this weekend?
We are Saturday at Fargo, at the aquarium. So if anybody's in Fargo, get out to the aquarium. It's gonna be a fun
That's a
time.
cool place too.
Yeah, and then we have Rhythm of the River, July 10th.
Oh, nice. Yes. Okay.
And oh yeah, our huge one, which we really want people to buy tickets to ASAP before they're gone, is our EP release.
So, that's part of like Roots Rock, isn't it?
It is. So that's July 15th at the Hook and Ladder for the Roots Rock and Blues Fest, but it's also our EP release. Because we were like, finally, we'll have a release party for this.
I know.
So that's a huge one we really want people to come out to. And that is 7:15. I mean, we can go down the line here. We have Outlaw Square. We're in South Dakota. 2nd Street Stage. Blue Ox.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that one's back. Is that one at the normal time, or are they pushing that back to September?
That one is in August.
Yeah. August. Okay. Something. Yeah. There we go.
Which is great. So we're doing the late night set there. That's going to be fun.
All right, well, let's talk about this EP release because I want to play the single Stuck Behind the Blues.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a part of this EP, or is that just a standalone single? Like, am I giving away trade secrets? Feel free to answer anything you want.
No, that is not part of the EP. The EP is from when we released it during COVID. So that's that whole CD. And this one is totally standalone on its own.
So it finally gets the party it deserved all along at the Hook and Ladder. Great place to do it. They do great work.
Yeah.
And that's going to be part of the festival. Is that going to be on the big outdoor stage as well? Is that going to be under the canopy?
Yep.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, you can get your ears on that. So that is already out, right? Can audiences stream that as we speak?
Yeah, the CD. Yep.
Perfect.
Did you make it back? Yeah.
All right. So if you like what you hear, you can hear it again at all streaming services. This is not on the EP, but this is also a brand new single that came out pretty recently. This is Stuck Behind the Blues by Mae Simpson here on KFAI. All right. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Feel free. Okay, so I know you might have to jet, so like feel free to stay as long as you can. I never expect people to stay the whole 2 hours. It's just I'm usually surprised that they just do it on their own volition. But yeah, for as long as you can, feel free to hang. So you self-produced this as a band?
Yeah, with Elaine, he works with us a little bit. He was like big in this and recording it for us. And then Dave, of course, and Yogi and Aaron helped out, and it was really just an in-house thing of capturing the best of our sound that we could. They did a great job. Really, they did.
Well, there's like huge tones. Like that organ tone is like gigantic. Like, were you tracking down Leslie speakers and like, or like, because like as some of the stuff when you record direct, it's like, it's just so hard to capture like how that thing is supposed to feel in a live room.
You gotta ask those guys for that one.
Yeah, I know nothing about that.
Sounds good, doesn't sound good. Fix it, don't fix it.
It's just the final yay or nay at the like the capturing the feeling.
Exactly. I just get the last say. I'm like, yeah or no. So, but those guys really like talk about like putting some serious work in. That's stressful on its own, and they really did it, and they did it really good.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. And it's, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess the vibe dealers.
Seriously. And the foxgloves are on that on the harmonies too. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're going to be
yeah,
at Blue Ox as well, I
yeah,
heard.
they won that competition, which I'm really proud of them. They're
Yeah,
fantastic. They'll be
they
at our
are.
EP release with us too, I think, doing some backups. So yeah, so they did really good on that song. I love it.
Nice.
It's a good vibe.
Yeah, yeah. So how are you going to go about like getting this to like, because I've been thinking about this too, like just with like the amount of traveling of like I'm so trepidatious about like getting out of the time zone. Like, are you thinking of like trying to get there immediately, or are you trying to like wait a little bit and see what the country does
Um,
overall?
well, I mean, I think you have to be cautious, right? And I don't think
Yeah,
any kind of touring, anything, something like that is a quick process unless you've
no,
got somebody that's promoting you from outside, right? This is totally in
yeah,
house. So that's just automatically going to take a little bit longer. I think the biggest thing is that we need is, I don't know, somebody to see us that understands what we're doing and has the connections that we don't because, you know, you're local and you're doing it and you're getting all these great gigs and that's great, but sometimes you need somebody to see you that's like, hey, I know the people, I know the places.
yeah, yeah. Well, I've also encouraged, and I know it's kind of irrelevant because 2020 took it off the table, but like I would always encourage local acts to tour because I think, especially in this market, it's really easy to plateau just because I think, and this is like, I'm not trying to like call this a small town, but like in the grand scheme of the country, it is.
Yeah.
And there's so many talented artists here that if you're not getting the response to your product, I mean, like you can do the things where it's like you said, like you're checking the vibe. It's just like, is this good? Does it have the feeling? And if you think in your heart of hearts that it does,
Yeah.
I've always advised people to tour because there is kind of like a market cap where I feel like it's just like it's not that the community like hates what you do. It's just like what you do, there's only a certain amount of people who are into that thing. And also, it's since we're not on mic, this is kind of a community that like kind of waits till other people like you before they can
Oh,
admit,
100%.
they like you.
100%.
Like there's like
Yeah.
that weird phenomenon where it's just like once you start taking off nationally, they're like, oh yeah, Twin Cities. We've loved them the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah, the
time.
whole
And it's just
time.
like,
The whole time.
and
That
it's
is
it's
so
it's
real.
it's not
Maybe it's
that,
real everywhere, right?
yeah, it's like it's not that people's art is without. Sometimes it's just like all your friends and the people you haven't met yet don't live in the
Well,
same town.
and touring, and that's a huge thing, right? Like we're definitely going to tour, but I also think there's tact in touring. I mean, I don't want to
Yeah,
just go to Bill's backyard and
no,
play to three people. You
yeah,
try to find bands that are kind of like you, and you see if they have a spot in Chicago or
yeah.
wherever, and you kind of show swap, do stuff like that. I mean, that's not to say you shouldn't be cutting your teeth. I mean, it's a grind, and sometimes you're going to lose on that tour, and that's
Oh,
just
big
what it
time.
is. And I'm completely ready to do that. Like I will
Oh, yeah.
completely like just burn in flames if I have to when I'm touring. But that's the thing, right? Do you want it that bad? Because you're gonna kind of have to like fall. You gotta
Right.
just go get it.
I definitely understand the grind aspect. I think where I'm at is like the sustainability, my own personal sustainability, but the sustainability of the product itself, because like
Yeah.
there is a strategy in that, but also the environment at large. Like there's like part of me where I'm just like, well, wait a minute, like I'm a solo artist. Like, should I be driving as much as I should be? And like the other act I'm in is primarily based in LA at this point. So like a lot of like our strategy is like, all right, we're just gonna fly to California and like figure that out when we get there.
Yeah.
I'm playing all those games where it's just like, how ethical is that for the environment? Like I've been experimenting, like trying to tour like a road comic of just
Okay.
like, oh yeah, I'm just going to a city for a few days and then I'm out. Like the weekend
Sure.
warrior thing, rather than like the constant string of because it's just like I don't know. Like I think I need a Prius or something. Like I don't feel right doing it for some reason.
I mean, I don't know if like just jetting off and expecting gigs is the best idea to do any sort of tour. And then, you know, when you have so many members as I do, like you really have to be tactical when you're doing that.
Yeah.
You know, it's money will fly out the window. So,
yes.
You know, for you, like it's a perfect opportunity for you to get a Prius and maybe not just show up, but maybe do some research of, hey, I'm going to start playing at this bar or this bar. And then, you know, making that tour happen for you is like, and your songs are so great. Like you have this beautiful sound that just, if people hear you, they get it immediately. I remember that from the first time I met you.
That's kind of like, that's why 2020 was so hard. Cause like, I definitely take a vaudevillian approach to what I do of just like, nah, it's about the act. See, you know, you got to have a tight 20. You got to have a, you know, like, it's just like I make weird art on purpose to the point where it's like, no, you have to see it live to fully get why I recorded something that way or why I, you know, like, and it's just like, when you don't have that, it's a really tough elevator pitch to be like, well, you know, when you listen to it, it's a metaphor for anxiety. That's why it sounds like that. But, you know, if you were there,
you would get it.
It doesn't sound like that live, trust me. But I want you to listen to it. But you know, maybe don't buy it. Just come to the, okay, there's, you know, it's like, that's a really hard sell when I can't just be like, come to the show, you have a good time. Come to the show, you have a good time. Like treating it like a hole in the wall sushi restaurant that no one's ever heard of, where it's just like, I don't know what to order. Doesn't matter. Trust me on this one.
Right.
I'm going to give you something. I worked really hard on it. I think it's good. I think you will too. And I think a lot of bands were in that position of just like, because right now I think it's a fool's errand to try to like dominate the airwaves because it's so fractalized that like there are airwaves for everybody now. Yeah. Like there's a radio show for like specific things, like that, like really weirdly specific things. Like you could go down like really weird rabbit holes of just like, I mean, there's probably like a whole podcast of just like, hey, you know, like singer-songwriters named Dave. Like I'm Dave. This is Dave. We're talking to Dave today. You know, like that exists. Like that's
Dave goes by Dave, not David.
Yeah, you know, it's just like
look, there's so many different. You're right. There's so many different airwaves for people to jump on to hear. But even with that, it's closed in. Like it's hard.
It is.
It is very hard to get on the radio, to, you know, send all your stuff in, to do all the things that you have to do. And really that's where places like Tinderbox come into play or somewhere else that really kind of help you. And they're not guaranteeing anything. That's not what they're doing. They're just making it available for people to use or see the worth in, you know? So, I mean, I think there's a bunch of different things that we as artists are still constantly learning, and I think that's the beauty of it, right? But it's also like the angst of having to learn that stuff, and you know,
and I definitely go back and forth on that. I had to like listen to like a meditation podcast to like really like. There's like a moment where like an ice sculptor was talking to. I can't remember if it was like David Nichtern or Mitch Horowitz, like one of those new age cats that like really is like into being new age and talks about meditation. But like this artist was like having, like, she was just saying like that I took time to let go of expectation, to let go of all the things I don't control or own as part of this experience. But I was hired to make an ice sculpture at an outdoor gathering recently, and there was a snafu, and like people weren't showing up, and they kept delaying the event, and they thought like there was too much, so we had to space the chairs out, and then by the time it started, she had planned this ice sculpture to melt in a certain way that it was almost like part of the event. Like this sculpture would kind of like unfurl as it was melting in the sun. And by the time the event started, it had already melted.
No.
and she was like trying to talk like, and this is where I'm at. Like, this is where, like, I do that. Like, I don't know if it's because I was raised Catholic or what, but like, I do that thing where I'm just like beating myself up. Like I'm the absolute world champ of like being hard on myself. And I was just, and because she was just like, I was really upset. But I know I just have to let it go. And I know I have to, you know, like, I know I'm making it about me again. And I know I'm like, and it's just like, and then like, he's like, this meditation guru was just like, let me stop you right there. Like, let's talk intent versus impact. And you were told to do a thing and you put a lot of intent to make an impact a certain way. Part of what you do is for other people. So it is perfectly okay, even though it wasn't your expectation, to be upset that that didn't work out, you know? And like, I struggle with that whole thing of just like, like, I'm so narcissistic. Like, it's like me. Like, it's just like, no one cares. It's just like, I go like, whenever that happens, I go like way too far in the other direction of just like, shut up, you egomaniac. No one cares about your art. No one should care about your art. There's wars, there's genocide, there's like rampant cronyism in the justice system. Like, there's bigger fish to fry. You know, and it's like, but at the same time, it's just like, no, it's valid to feel upset about that. Like, that's what you do. It's like, you're not trying to take over and enslave the world. You're just, you know, just trying to make moments. And when part of what you do is so tied to the now, you have every right to be upset over it. But like, finding that balance of not taking it too far, of like, you know, it's all about me all the time, you know, like, I don't know. It never ends. It never ends.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, like, I think we're all valid in our feelings of when we don't feel good enough, or when we feel like we're not doing enough, or when we feel like our projects fail, or whatever we think about it. Doesn't mean a feeling's not valid. It doesn't mean it's bigger than anybody else's feeling either. It's just one of those things that, like, letting go is a lot harder to do, like, period. When you're so invested into something, you know, it's a fine line of letting go and not.
Well, it only hurts that bad because you care. Like,
exactly.
And that's
I've loved talking to you. You know, I got a jet now.
I know. I was just about to ask. I was like, it's almost like 40 past. We got to go. This is actually good timing because this song has like 3 minutes left, so we might as well take out before we get another ad break.
Sure.
May, thank you so much for coming back on the show. I am going to do my best to catch one of your shows when it's in town, or maybe not. Maybe we might be crossing paths on the road. We'll see. But like, I can't wait to see you. It's good to see you virtually, but I can't wait to actually see your band again. Because that'll be like one of those nature is healing moments.
Hey man, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Doc. You're such a great soul.
Likewise. Well, good to see you. Do your thing. I don't want to hold you anymore because I'm a talker. I'll hold you forever. But good to see you, May. Congrats on the new record. And
thank you.